Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harris here again. This is just another video to go along with our cutting board project. The goal of this video is to just show you guys how Mr. Singer and I used glue to put our cutting boards together. So this is after we have used the table saw to cut our strips of wood down to the sizes that we preferred. So my strips here, I have 2 1/2-inch pieces, I have 2 1.25-inch pieces, 2-inch pieces, and then I have an 1.5-inch piece for my center. Again, I'm using some maple, some cherry, and some walnut wood, okay? So this video here is going to show you how to use the glue, and we're also going to talk about prepping our boards so that when we use the adhesive, it actually sticks and does the job that it's supposed to. So we're going to need some sandpaper. Right now I have some 120 grit sandpaper here. I have already pre-sanded for sake of time all of this wood here, except for this side on this piece of wood here and this side here. I'm choosing to sand this wood down by using 120 grit sandpaper by hand. We also will have the orbital sanders available for you guys to use, and the belt and disc sander, because you guys are all certified to use those since you passed the safety exams. So as you can see, what I'm doing right here is I am just going back and forth on this piece of wood. You're going to want to do this to each side that was run through the saw on each cut piece. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that this wood is nice and smooth, so when we put the glue on it, they stick together perfectly and there's no gaps. Okay, so that's pretty good. And then I have my end piece here, which, as I said, I kind of already did this to all the pieces for the sake of time in this video. But we're just going to give this another quick run here. All right, so now my pieces are sanded. Next step, what we're going to do is we're going to glue all of our pieces. So what I do is I lay them down how I'm going to have my cutting board. So just like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my pieces on one of the sides. Okay, so I'm just going to flip them the same direction. And I'm going to put glue on these sides, put them together, and we're going to use some wood clamps to clamp them together, and we'll let them sit overnight and harden. So I'm going to use my glue. Now with the glue, we don't need a whole bunch. I'm going to be putting the glue on, and as you can see, I'm just doing one solid line all the way down. That's enough glue, okay? So I'm going to put the glue onto that. Glue on to this next one as well. All right, and then the following one. Now, some of my pieces are a little bit wider, so I'm going to use a little bit thicker of a stream on that piece of wood. And on this one, this is a piece that's a little bit thicker, so we can get a little bit more on there. My final piece. All right, so now my wood is, or the glue is on my wood. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip them down and try to align them up. We should have made our pieces the same length. Mine are 13 inches in length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to line them up as well as I can do by just using my eyes. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be putting this on the CNC machine next and cutting out the shape of our cutting board as well. So now that I have them as flush as I can get them down here, I'm going to use a clamp. So when we use the clamp here, this trigger tightens. This metal trigger you pull back, that allows you to slide this part of the clamp up and down. So I'm going to open it. Nice thing about the clamp is that it's a nice straight edge right here. So I will show you in a second, but I'm using this bar right here to put my pieces to butt up against, okay? So, using that, I'm gonna tighten this side down. Not gonna over tighten it yet, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other clamp as well. This is just a larger one. Again, trigger to tighten, trigger to loosen. I'm going to use this clamp to get this other side as tight as I can, or as flush as I can get, tighten up. Now what I'm going to do is I can start to tighten these down. Tightening tightening. You should see some glue starting to come out of the cracks, as you can see there. And you can also see that the clamps are nice and straight on our edges. Again, this is not too important that they're perfectly straight on the edges, because the CNC machine is going to be cutting out the shape that you choose. But the closest we can get it to flush, the best. Okay. As you can see on the back side, a lot of glue came out. So what we can do is you can take some paper towel and wipe that off. You also might get some glue on the table. If you do, take some of that paper towel as well from over there by the eye wash sink area and wipe this off as well. Okay. After that, you're just gonna let this dry overnight. When you come back during the next class period, it should be hardened. What we will do is we'll run it through the planer, get it to 3/4 of an inch. After that's done, we'll throw it onto the CNC machine and get it cut out. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me or Mr. Singer.